The 2026 Russell Weekend is just around the corner. The annual Irish Traditional Music Festival, held in Doolin, is a remembrance event, of course, celebrating the world-famous traditional musician Russell family from the area. That is, of course, Micho, Packie and Gussie. And this year's festival is going to run from Friday the 20th to Monday the 23rd of February. And to look ahead to the Russell Festival weekend for 2026 and find out what to expect, I'm joined in studio by Pat Sweeney, local historian and cousin to the Russell brothers and member of the committee. Chairman of the Russell Committee, Martin Davis, also with us, and ready to play some music on concertina is Sarah Clarke. And you're all very welcome to studio, folks. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you, Alan. Yeah.
Don't be too shy.
No.
I know you're not, Pat, so I'll start with you. Look, the Russell Weekend, real institution, part of life in Doolin for decades. It kind of gave a slight sense of what it's about, but I mean, you have closer connections than most, given you are a cousin of the Russell brothers. Tell us more about it and what that connection means to you.
And just like I also say that Martin Davis is also a cousin as well. So we have two cousins here for the Russells. Sure, it's great in memory of the Russell to have this weekend. It's the 32nd weekend of the Russell Festival weekend in Doolin, and we always say that it is a memory, looking back in the memories of the Russell family and looking back in the memories of the older musicians in Doolin that made Doolin what it is today, which is a fantastic place to come. And we're going to have a great weekend coming up for the Russell weekend. We're actually going to kick it off on Thursday night at Russell's old homestead, where it all started for the Russells. You know, it was a private function with a couple of neighbours coming in. We'll play a few tunes and we'll just mark the occasion on the Thursday night in the old homestead. And then I think there's a lovely bit of history coming up on the Friday night, which is it's a free entry into the hall there in Doolin there. It's a lovely bit of folklore history of the project. Doon, I suppose you have the Doolin School coming and the kids telling stories about the stories that were brought alive by the Largy when he came round. He recorded a lot of stuff. He was an answer man, and he came round. He recorded a lot of the old. I often remember my father talking about the way he used to go over to Carey's household in Luke there, and he recorded a lot of stuff. But for that man coming round, we would have lost a lot of history in the area, and we're going to talk about that on the Friday night.
Okay, very good. And as Pat mentioned, Martin, you also have family connections to the Russells. Why were they so important to Irish traditional music, not just in Clare but beyond the boundaries?
Well, I suppose they all played music for a start. Micho would have left Clare a very simple man. He would have travelled the world, big following over in Germany, and would have brought the music of Doolin to other parts, which in effect then meant that people came to Doolin and wanted to find out where Micho Russell lived, where he played music, which I suppose brought O'Connor's pub into the picture, because that's where he did play music at the time. So he was probably a man before his time, really, insofar as that he had no inhibitions at all about tumming his way to Innis, maybe getting a bus somewhere else, getting a plane somewhere else, and travelling.
He made sure he got around.
He sure did, yeah, he sure did. And he was so well known, I suppose, as well, locally, that nobody ever minded giving him a lift to wherever he wanted to go.
Okay, very good. Do you think they would have ever imagined, Pat, the kind of legacy they've left behind, and that this event is such a big draw each year?
Yeah, I suppose they have left a massive legacy for the people of Doolin to go and enjoy. And as Martin says there, Micho went to Germany. He was well known in Germany, well known in all over America, especially the east coast of America. I have many stories. I grew up actually beside the Russells. The Russells' house was next door to me, and I grew up beside them all my life. I have a bit of a story about Micho. It's a funny story, but Micho was there was no phones in Doolin that time, very few phones, but we had a phone in our house, and the Russells had no phone. Micho came over to my father one day, and he said, could I ring Dublin? And my father said, of course you can, yeah, no problem in the world. The B.B. Baskin show was coming up. This is over 40 years ago. It was here in Innis here. And he said, I have to ring a fella in Dublin about the show. This is maybe 2 weeks before the show. And yeah, no problem. And so my father rang the number. They got through. I have an awful funny feeling that he got through to, I can't think of his name there, Dunica, maybe in Dublin. And it doesn't matter, we got through it anyhow. But they wanted to hear a few of the tunes that he was going to play for the B.B. Baskin show. Okay. And I said to my father, I'm going out doing the jobs and going out for a bag of turf for the fire and whatever. I left, my father was there. Michael started to host and whistle. He played a few tunes, and I was probably gone a half an hour. And when I came back in again after doing a few jobs, Michael was singing into the phone. He was singing a song that was going to be sang in the BB Baskin show 2 weeks later. And when I came in again, there was another maybe 15 minutes that my father was holding the phone like this. And we came off and he said, that's all sorted now. And the show was coming up in Innocent in 2 weeks' time. And Michael said, any chance you give me a spin down to the West County for the show? And I said, I will, of course. I was young at the time, 2021. I said, I'll go down to, and sure, you might get tickets to my father and mother. And my father popped up and he said, yeah, Michael, get tickets for Pat there and for Mary, the wife there. But I'm okay, he said. I've it all heard, he said.
Say his hand was sore from holding up the phone receiver.
That's how simple the Russells were.
Can you imagine what that sounded like coming down a tinny phone line? But sure, he got the gig anyway. Absolutely brilliant. Martin, Pat gave us a bit of a sense of what's going to be happening across the run of the festival. Can you talk us through some of the other standout events?
Yeah, for sure. So on Saturday then I suppose the concerts begin, and the 2 o'clock at the centre, Andreas the Stack will open up the Russell weekend.
No better man.
Man that he can sing a song, he can play a tune,
tell a story.
He can tell a story, and sometimes you think he's doing the three of them at the same time. He takes you to somewhere where the three of them all meet anyway.
Exactly,
so
an intersection.
very, very interesting guy, great entertainer. After that, then we have Peter Street, who are a young traditional Irish music band that are making a lot of waves at the moment, and they will take out the main concert on the Saturday. Then on Sunday at the Russell Centre again at 2 o'clock we have Anne Curran, Dermot Byrne, Gary O'Brien and Ronan Green. So again it's going to be one of those concerts where we're very lucky to have Anne Curran, who's a beautiful singer, and to be accompanied by some great musicians. After that then there's going to be a fiddle recital in the memory of James Cullinan, a renowned fiddle player from Kilnamona who lived a lot of his life in Doolin, played music with an awful lot of other musicians, and sadly has left us. So that will be Sunday evening. Just at the grave on Sunday at 12 o'clock there will be a wreath-laying ceremony. This is a traditional ceremony that goes on. Pat Sweeney will say a few words as he always does. There will be, depending on the weather, we will have musicians, and there may be somebody singing a song or two there. So that's 12 o'clock at the graveyard on the Sunday. Tickets for the festivals for the Saturday and Sunday can be picked up on Eventbrite. So if anybody wants to get tickets, they just go to Eventbrite, and there's Saturday tickets, Sunday tickets and weekend tickets.
Okay, very good. So people can
and Monday then there's music in the pub, so that finishes the and as there will be there's a programme of music all over the weekend and workshops in the pubs and in the hotels.
I can ask you, Pat, about the wreath-laying ceremony. I suppose events like that are very moving, and why is it important to keep that kind of quiet, reflective element alongside all the fun and crack of the music that's going to be happening elsewhere? Yeah,
well, it's a bit different this year. Normally we would have mass in Doolin at 10 o'clock, and we moved it to 1 o'clock, and then we after the mass in Doolin. And it used to be a lovely mass because we had a lot of the young musicians in Doolin that were learning the music, especially from the school and all there, that would come and play for that mass. It was the only mass in Doolin, really, maybe, that you would have the young traditional musicians playing for it. And as you know, you had Father Robert in here. And
that's right,
he's under serious pressure.
McNamara, yeah.
And we're going to stage now, we've only mass once a month in Doolin. So the poor devil wasn't able to say mass for the Michael Russell, and look at, I suppose we have to mark the occasion. So normally the wreath will be blessed at the mass, and we will walk down to the grave in Doolin, and there's a job I got that I never looked for, or maybe there's a pinch note of it, I don't know. Jack Gary, my good friend, was the man that used to lay the wreath in the grave there until the poor man passed away. And when he was a year or two before he passed away, he was come over to me, and by the way, he was selling spuds, but I suppose he was really selling me the job. And the day he said, "Step up now." He said, "It's time for you to step up now, and you're a cousin of the Russells. To your job now to lay the wreath in the grave and say a few words." And it's actually, if the weather's nice, it can be a nice occasion. You have lovely musicians down there playing a few tunes in honour of the Russells, and some lovely, fantastic songs as well. And a few people coming from down islands as well for that occasion as well. So it is a lovely occasion.
Okay, well, going to be as well attended as ever by the sounds of it. That is the Russell Festival weekend for 2026, running in Doolin from the Friday the 20th to Monday the 23rd of February. Sarah, you've been sitting there for long enough with that concertina. We may as well see you put it into action. Before you do, though, tell us a little bit about what the Russell weekend means to you and being part of it all.
Well, I started attending the Russell Festival when I was really, really young, trying to learn music, and I was surrounded by so many really talented musicians in Doolin, and obviously I think the Russell brothers probably paved the way for that, and Doolin has become such a big place for Irish music and for young people and old. Everyone can come to Doolin and play music, and the Russell Festival is just a great marker of that, I think.
Okay, very well said. Everyone in here is nodding in agreement. What are you going to play for us?
I'll play two short jigs. The first one is called The Fox and the Thatch, and the second one, I'm not too sure, but we'll call it Gone On 'Em for now.
Okay. I don't mind if you're not sure on the name, as long as you're sure on how to play it. That's the main thing. Okay, in your own time, okay. Sarah Clarke.
Lovely.
Lovely stuff there, Sarah Clarke. Thank you very much. Well played, and my thanks as well to Martin Davis and Pat Sweeney. Folks, thank you, and make sure you get along to the Russell Festival weekend.